Remember when I told you that corn that had fallen over is just butt ugly? Well, several of you said I should have done it a different way. And you know what? You were right. I had a blowout. Big wind came yesterday and just took out the middle of it. Blew it this way. I don't know what it was, just a straight line wind. So I am going to try to stand it up and put some more string under it. What I should have done, instead of putting one baling twine string, I should have put two, or put some of that electric fence wire that I use on my blackberries. That would have probably held it up, probably stopped it. I don't know whether you can see that string or not, but it's about 2 feet off the ground, and I should have, as the corn grew, and it grew probably about another foot after I strung it up, I should have put another string higher, at about another foot higher. That might have stopped it in itself, but I don't know. My plan is to go around on the backside, get some cultivators with some handles on them, and use that to pick the corn up, and then I'll have some string available and ready. And just like a stack of dominoes that have fallen, you need to start at the rear of the stack instead of starting at the other stack. You know, you can't just raise this one up. You got to raise the rear up first and then raise the rest of it up. So that's the way we're going to try to do it here. And this may not work. I don't know. I can't stand having it laying down like that, so we got to do something. And hopefully I can get it standing up pretty decent. I'm about a week and a half away from finished corn, and I just don't want it to lay like this until it's finished. So we're going to give it a shot, try to make it happen. 8 hours after making this video showing me working hard to try to stand the corn back up, about 8 hours later, at about 11 o'clock at night, we got a storm come through with a windstorm, and it has done this to the corn. It has just laid it down. Not all of it, of course, but that portion right there is where I worked on earlier in the video, but it laid this down also, which was leaning some, but not totally devastated. So frustrating. I don't know that I'm going to try to stand it up. I think it's fruitless to try to stand it up because I just don't think it's going to. I think it's probably pollinated well enough. The ears seem to be filling out well enough. They look good for having about a week to go, week and a half to go before they're ripe. And even if they're not pollinated, they can continue to get pollinated like this. I'm just not going to do anything with it. What I should have done, what I will do next year, if I plant in these raised beds next year, here's what I will do. First of all, I will put 4 posts instead of 2 at the end of the rows. I will start early enough when the corn is small and start a wire low and then come up as needed, maybe 4 wires, and I will put them on each of the posts and try to train the 4 rows of corn to grow between the 4 wires that will be running in between there. Again, I'll put 4 wires running through, and I'll also put about 3 or 4 wires, depending on how tall it gets, 3 or 4 wires running laterally, horizontally. They will be wires. They will not be string. They will have much more support. In other words, instead of having one, I think I've got one right in the middle. I've got one rebar, and next year I will have on the outsides, maybe not all the way, maybe not 4 posts in between, but I'll at least have 1 post on the outsides about 2 or 3 times through here. In other words, I'll probably have, instead of having 1 rebar in the middle, I'll probably have 3 T-posts, probably about every 15 feet. maybe have, this row is 50 feet long, have about 3 T-posts in between the outside T-posts that I tied to, just to hold it together, and I'll use the wire, the 17 gauge electric fence wire. I just believe that will do it, and obviously this will not. I may even take my other video down, or at least link to this one as failure. The other video might work in low wind situations just to keep it from, you know, falling over a little bit. But man, we got some wind last night. I told my wife last night I could hear it blowing. We got a piece of flashing on the deck that always flops around a little bit when it rains. And I told her, I said, my corn is gone. My corn is getting blown over right now. First time I've been down here, so you're seeing it first time as I am. And gonna do things differently next year, so this is a big fail. I don't think what I did yesterday, had I gone through there with electric wire, unless I put some more T-posts in between. The fact that I used the string instead of wire wasn't a factor. I've got to have more support. Just one small support in the middle is not going to do it, especially when these things get so tall and so heavy, because they've all of them got 1 or 2 ears of corn on it, and it just makes those stalks heavy. Because you can't hill corn in a raised bed, you have got to stabilize, and I did a poor job of that this year. So this is a fail. I still hope to get corn. I will show you the corn, good or bad. I'll show you what I got in about 2 weeks, and hopefully we'll make some, and some of it is not going to be, I'm sure, but we should have gotten 200, 250 ears, and I'm hoping for at least half that now, and we'll just see. But this is a big fail, and some of it was just me being naive enough to think that that string was going to hold it up. It's not going to. Not without some extra supports in the middle, those extra T-posts in the middle. So keep that in mind if your corn is small and you're thinking about doing some supports. Give it more support than what you think it needs. All right, I think that's it. We're gone.